Hey, what's up, guys? Another request, and just generally, uh, this video will be outdated in about 6 months. I guarantee it. But what I'm gonna do is kind of give you advice on how to build a production PC, and how I'm gonna do that is I'm going to kind of pick parts if I were to build one right now, but you know, use your discretion. But yeah, this is going to be because every few years I build a new machine, and I trust the same kind of brands. It carries over. Every second generation I get a new machine. I got the Core 2 Duo behind me. That is just a seed box, and then I have the i7 not Sandy Bridge, Nehalem, whatever. I'm using that currently, and the generation that just came out, I believe, is Haswell, which is kind of decent and really tempting. But I'm gonna wait to the next nanometer process. But all that aside, what is most important, in my opinion, anything else you can, use from a previous machine or kind of cheap out or whatever. But the number one thing, in my opinion, is the CPU and motherboard. CPU and motherboard have to be, it's like the solid unit. If one goes, then you're basically fucked. So don't go cheap on the CPU or the motherboard. You can use like older PCI video cards. You can use, cheapo RAM and then upgrade your RAM later if you need. Hard drives are disposable, holla holla get dollar. But yeah, basically what we're gonna do is, if I was gonna build a computer right now, and right now, let's see, I would get the i7 as well. You want a nice computer clock speed, maybe. I wouldn't get the unlock, or I guess they're both unlocked. Yes, I think, yeah, I get this. This is the new Haswell. You'll see the Mac Pros using this in about 2 years' time, claiming it's new. But this is the Haswell, came out like a month or 3 weeks ago or something. Big deal. Uses like an 8 nanometer processor or something. Yeah, very tiny, very small space between transistors, and it's made with lasers, and it creeps me out how they make them. But the one thing that you have to kind of focus on is clock speed. So a decent clock speed is 3.5 gigahertz. Focus on that, and what you need is hyperthreading. The i7s have hyperthreading, the i5s do not. The i5s have hyperthreading. You need hyperthreading for this very reason. So you have, this is my CPU right here. It has 4 cores, I believe they're called logical cores, and then each core has has 2 threads, right? So we have 8 threads going on at once. Ableton, each channel in terms of its processing, you can't spread the work out between 2 threads. So each thread is its own process, or each channel is its own thread in the process. So what the hyperthreading does is it kind of levels it out, so it turns out to be more responsive. And if you take a channel and you load it up with a lot of effects, then you'll see one thread spike up. And yeah, so and if I've tried this before, I've turned hyperthreading off and I've lost a lot of performance, and tracks were weird. So in my opinion, hyperthreading is good. I guess Turbo Boost is too, if you're under load, say rendering or whatnot. Usually Ableton, your CPU doesn't really max out. If it does, then that's pretty crazy. It's there's other bottlenecks in there, but yeah, it's always good to have plenty of cache From what I've read, that's good. I'm not too sure what it does, but you know, the more the better. It's like a faster RAM. So that'll boost performance, but absolutely hyperthreading is good for multiple channels running at once each, because it levels it out better than having 4 threads. You know, 4 threads would, you know, not do as well as 8, even though each kind of has a different clock speed, but whatever. It's weird mathematics. Somehow it works better. So that is what you would look for in a CPU. I would go AMD, because I've used AMD for a long time. Not AMD. Did I say AMD? I meant Intel. I don't like AMD, but yeah, Intel. I've used Intel for many years. Hasn't let me down. I've overclocked. I've tried to break them. I don't overclock anymore, but I've seen quite a bit of success. They're very resilient. They've survived quite a bit of heat, and they're well made. This one is still going strong since I guess I got the i7s when they first came out, the Nehalem ones, and still running strong. Made many tracks and generally a beast. AMD, I kind of lost faith after the bulldozer thing. 8 cores, but you know, got outperformed by, you know, another thing that I was reading. Not an expert, but yeah. So I would say stick with Intel for their integrated chipsets, or whatever. I'm drowning out. Motherboards. I am an EVGA fan. I'm a fanboy, you can say. I always go EVGA. I'm using EVGA in this one, and I've used it in another, in my computer behind me. That was literally on for like 2 years straight, running Facebook games at my mother's house. And the reason why, let me just find it. I don't think, oh, they probably, yeah, they don't have a chipset available for EVGA. Generally, I would go EVGA, and if one wasn't available for my Sagi, which I'm kind of surprised, I would wait. But the reason for EVGA is because they're an overclocking gaming motherboard, and you really don't want to go cheap. They have high quality capacitors, high quality voltage phase regulators for your CPU, and generally they all have the Intel chipset, which is good for a lot of USB devices. Runs quite a bit better as opposed to other chipsets. Another reason, because the FireWire, which is on its way out, which is sad, which is kind of irrelevant because they don't use the Moto anymore. FireWire is always Texas Instruments. Texas Instrument stuff is of high quality as well. But I guess if I was going to build one right now, I would look at, I have no idea. I don't know what socket Haswell is, but yeah, I wouldn't get one right now. I would wait until an EVGA product motherboard came out, and yeah, for the above reasons that I said. Just because it's tried and tested. I have a 780i or 730, 720i, something like that, and it still runs, and it's like 7 years old. And just for the fact that it has high quality components, and it's very rugged, and it's for, people getting world record overclocks on, and I use it, just stock everything, no overclock. So, that's my reasoning. What else? Keyboards and mice, yeah. A high quality DDR memory. Oh, that's another thing. Absolutely, I would stick with Windows 7, 64-bit Windows 7, but at the time being, currently, I would still use 32-bit Ableton, just because of my plugins, and I don't have the issues of running out of RAM. So if this was me right now, I guess I don't know the Haswell architecture that much, and I think I'm not sure if it's triple channel or dual channel. Well, I assume it's, I don't know. I would get a fast, somewhat of a fast RAM, preferably Corsair, or maybe, yeah, I guess I get, I do a bit more research and figure out the RAM possibility and what works well with the CPU. And yeah, I wouldn't, RAM's kind of cheap, so yeah, I would get just regular RAM. I wouldn't get like 64 gigabytes. I would, like, right now I only have 6, and 6 has done me well. In my previous one I have 4, but 6 gigabytes of RAM is basically all I've ever needed for music making and streaming and recording and all that. You don't need massive amounts of RAM, especially since Ableton's 32 only uses 2 gigs or something, and then the system uses whatever, so plenty of RAM to spare. I've never had a problem with RAM. So what else? I would get a solid state drive. I would try to get, if I was building this right now, I'd try to get an Intel. Oh, they don't have Intel ones on here anymore. Yeah, they probably do, but I guess I would get 120 or 128 SSD for the operating system and programs, and then just get a regular 500 gigabyte hard drive. Stick with 500 gigabyte hard drives, because anything over that, the data between whatever is the gigabyte or the terabyte and the 2 terabyte ones, they fail a lot more. So, and that's my kind of what I've witnessed in terms of that, is that the larger hard drives are a bit more unstable. So 500 gigabyte is totally where you want it. I'll get 2 500 gigabyte ones. Your motherboard support plenty of drives, and that brings me to cases. Computer cases. I would probably get a quieter one this time around. I would not cheap out on a case. No PSU. Yeah, well, obviously. I'm sure there's some quiet ones. There's none that say, "Oh, super quiet." Maybe one that doesn't have a whole lot of fans, and I'd put a bunch of foam on the outside, maybe. But you would have to get an extended ATX one, just for cool factor. And if you're getting a large gaming motherboard, then you'll need one. But yeah, water cool. Oh yeah, I get water cool, but that's a different lecture. And yeah, power supplies. There's one thing about power supplies. It's not about the wattage. It's about what's on the 12-volt rail, and I can't adequately explain that. But if you can get any modern, decent power supply, and it'll work fine for production. You're not using like 20 graphics cards all in SLI, and you're not, gaming hardcore, and you're not using like multiple fans. Well, not really fans, but like the CPU only takes 80 watts of power, and that's like whatever. And then I guess the video card would take 100, not maybe like 130 at load. So these power supplies are way overkill. So yeah, just get one. Try to get one that's quiet, and don't get a case with a bunch of fans, because they're really loud. Yeah, that's basically it, really. Video cards, you can get some nice previous generation ones. If you want to, like mine was $100 a couple years ago, and it still works fine. I guess these are all gaming ones, but you can get like previous generation ones for super cheap. Don't get a massive one unless you enjoy games. Yeah, so generally what you need to look for is I guess write this down. i7 hyper-threading, Intel chipset, and yeah, you can use any company you want, but I highly recommend EVGA. They haven't steered me wrong, and yeah, hope you got some value out of this video. I sure didn't. Yeah, a lot of motherboards have plenty of USB space. That's all fine. I believe that some DisplayPort products or Thunderbolt interfaces are coming into the future, so I would try to get something like that. You can get a PCI Express Thunderbolt adapter. That's all fine and good. But yeah, just focus on that one. Even if your motherboard doesn't come with a FireWire, you can get little card inserts, PCI ones, that will do the trick, and will just like slide right in the back, and it's all good to go. Just make sure this Texas Instruments. And that is it for me. So take care and